Hello friends, hope you all are doing good. Today in this video, I'm going to discuss elements of humor and pathos seen in Charles Lamb's essays. So let's move on to the video. Charles Lamb, as we all know, was an English essayist, poet, fiction writer and critic from the Romantic period who continues to be one of the lovable and read English essayists of all times. He was born in February 10, 1775 at London. He was one of the significant members of the Lake Poets, among whom William Wordsworth and Samuel Taylor Coleridge were his close friends. Although he couldn't attain enduring popularity for his poetry as his friends Wordsworth and Coleridge did, he later channelized his energies into writing prose, and in this pursuit emerged as one of the best essayists of time. Lamb went to school at Christ's Hospital, where he studied until 1789. He was a near contemporary there of S.T. Coleridge and Leigh Hunt. At the age of 21, Lamb was forced to take care of his sister Mary Lamb as she was suffering from mental illness and killed their mother. Lamb's first appearance in print were as a poet, with contribution to the collection by Coleridge and by Charles Lloyd. A Tale of Rosamund Grey, a prose romance, appeared in 1798, and in 1802 he published John Woodville, a poetic tragedy. The Old Familiar Faces in 1789 remains his best known poem. In 1807, Lamb and his sister published Tales from Shakespeare, a retelling of the plays for children. In 1808, Charles Lamb came out with The Adventures of Ulysses, an adaptation of Odyssey for children. The same year, his Specimens of English Dramatic Poets Who Lived About the Time of Shakespeare, that consisted of selective scenes of Elizabethan drama, was published. Lamb's greatest achievements were his remarkable letters and essays that he wrote under the pseudonym Elia for London Magazine, which was founded in 1820. His style is highly personal and mannered, its function being to create and delineate the persona of Elia. Lamb's essays are as much an expression of the Romantic movement as the verse of Coleridge and Wordsworth. His essays springs up with humor and sometimes with pathos. They also recall scenes from childhood and from later life. Lamb's first Elia essays were published separately in 1823. A second series appeared as The Last Essays of Elia in 1833. Now let's take a look at traits of Charles Lamb's essays. First one, characters in Lamb's essays. The essays of Lamb are interspersed with brief character sketches. Most of the individuals who are sketched in these essays were real persons. Lamb loves to give interesting anecdotes in his essays. These anecdotes are in most cases intended to serve as illustrations of the points made by the author. These anecdotes are therefore made to appear integral to essays. Lamb's characters, who are real-life persons, can be seen in his The South Sea House. Several persons whom Lamb used to work with are portrayed. He refers to them as humorous and as odd fishes. Now second one, style and themes of Lamb's essays. Lamb's essays exhibit infinite variety. His essays satisfy the appetite of every taste. In his essays, Lamb reveals himself. He was a visualizer of memories. His essays are given a glimpse into his life and thoughts. The essay Dream Children was noted for its autobiographical description. It was a reverie. The reason behind the creation of this essay was the death of his brother John. It unveils the author's soul. It was full of pathos. A Bachelor's Complaint was also an autobiographical essay, and it was humorous also. Here Lamb describes various oddities of the married couples. His essays embody as many themes he liked, from personal to professional, from imaginary to factual, from pathetic to humorous. His essays satisfy the appetite of every taste. Now moving on to the important content of this video. Humor and pathos in Lamb's essays. Charles Lamb is widely known as the master of personal essays. His essays are composed in Essays of Elia and Last Essays of Elia. His essays are marked by self-revelation, humor and pathos, and a conversational manner. Lamb's essays are actually social criticisms which oppose and even subvert the social and cultural configurations that restrain the preferences of individuals. In the Romantic epoch, the principle of individualism and creative consideration acquires strength in the class of personal essay like Essays of Elia by Lamb. In these essays, the center platform is held by the various shades of the essayist's self-reflective subjectivities, which established a thorough record of memories, emotions, embarrassment, and imagination. Lamb assumes the role of a commentator and narrator in his essays. His narratives blend pictures of the self and others in realistic condition. Charles Lamb is an extraordinarily skilled person in displaying humor and pathos in a single sequence. We find a curious mingling of these two ingredients in his works. The comical side and the sense of humor never desert him. Laughter is followed by tears of sympathy in many of his essays. Furthermore, humor may be depicted as an excessive sensitivity to the genuine proportion of things and pathos that appeals to our emotions of kindness and evokes sympathy. In some essays, we have pathos and humor alternating one another. In others, we have the two elements coexisting in the equal passion that we see pathos and humor as facts of the same thing. In his essay Dream Children, a Reverie, Lamb discusses about personal unhappiness and cheerfulness. He provides expression to his unfulfilled longings and desires. He easily enters into the world of imagination and pop up stories in the presence of his imaginary kids. He narrates how fun he had at the great house at Orchard at Norfolk. He had a but even in those familiar conditions and surroundings, the bitter realities of life doesn't miss our eyes. The essay is a superb specimen of personal or subjective essay, which has blended fact and fiction. Dream Children is the reverie of a man who was intensely human and whose life was tragedy. The element of humor, which is a characteristic of most of the essays of Lamb, is not absent even from this pathetic essay. The children's reaction to their father's statement are humorous. Consequently, Lamb has drawn both the illumination and darkness of life in entire circle. Again, in his The Praise of Chimney Sweeper, Lamb sway between humor and pathos while portraying chimney sweepers. We are amused by a description of the disappearance of young chimney sweeper entering and his reappearance after doing his job at the top. There is pathos also in his Lamb's account of how some of these chimney sweepers might have been kidnapped in their infancy from the aristocratic homes where they are born. The essay Christ Hospital 530 years ago affords an excellent illustration of the mingling of the humor and pathos in the works of Lamb. A vein of humor runs throughout the essay, but there are many touching episodes. The poor and inadequate meals that the boy used to get at school are amusingly described. Even we feel unhappy for the psychology of the child, who speak of homesickness. It is replete with recollection and reminiscence of his life at the charity school of Christ Hospital. Like the above-mentioned works, many other works portray or reveal humor and pathos. Other works include The Old Man and the New Schoolmaster, The Southsea House, etc. Lamb's humor, humanity, and the sense of pathos are all his own, and it is mainly these qualities which differentiate his essays from those of his contemporaries. He is unique by the virtue of his telling stories, bearing his personality as forever sweet memories, the quality as one of Elia's distinctive hallmark, along with his fondness for the obscure and other idiosyncrasies. In brief, we can see that the most distinctive feature of Lamb's essay is the remarkable mixture of pathos and humor. None of his essays is there in which he has not expressed frankly in his personal anguish and suffering in a witty humor. Witty humor. Indeed, the heart-touching pathos of some of the essays is responsible for much of their appeal to the reader. Just as we want to laugh, so we face the need of tears because tears brings us a kind of happiness by effecting catharsis of our suppressed feelings of pity and fear. At the back of pathos, in the essays of Lamb, is of course his sense of tragedy of his own life. The curious mixture of pathos and humor revealed to us the unique charm of the personality of Lamb as a writer. His essays are among the daintiest thing in the whole range of English literature. So guys, hope you got some ideas about humor and pathos in Charles Lamb's essays. So have a good day, stay safe and stay home. Thank you.